Good morning. My name is Brian Blackwelder and I own Blackwelder Pump and Irrigation Company here in DeLand, Florida. This morning I want to go over some common problems that we see or that we get phone calls for on a reoccurring basis. My well won't run, my pump won't run, I've checked my breaker, and a lot of times it's something very simple and something that just the average homeowner can do to get these pumps up and running. It's something we walk customers through all the time, but today I wanted to make a small video and go over some of the similar problems that we see. First and foremost, I want to make sure that every customer or every person understands when you're doing this, that anytime you're working with these style of pumps or submersibles or anything, you're generally working with 220 or 115 voltage. So it's very important to approach this as safe as possible. We don't encourage anyone to take your hands or fingers and put them inside these electrical connections on any of these pumps, any of these control boxes. Again, they're normally live with live power. That being said, we're going to show you today how to go through and just check and see if you're getting power through. Generally, these pressure switches will have a plastic or a thermoplastic lid on them. Some of the older units will come with steel lids. Those you got to be very careful with because steel will conduct electricity where plastic will not. One of the most common problems we see is a customer calls and says, hey, I have no water, my pump won't run, I've flipped all the breakers. And what we find is in these pressure switches, you have a set of points that open and close. And this set of points is what controls the pump, whether it be a vertical jet like this one, a horizontal jet, or even a submersible or submersible's control box. All of your point of connection starts with this little switch right here. Generally, the switch, which it has 4 leads on the top, it'll have your power coming in the 2 outside leads, and it'll have your line feeding out to the switch or to the pump or to the control box on the inside 2 leads. The way this makes connection, and again, I'm doing this with no power turned on, so please don't do this without following or listening through the whole video. These points open and close, and what happens is it makes connection between the 2 points or the 2 leads. So you'd have a line coming in here and half of your load going out, your other line coming in and your other half of the load going out. What happens is there's a small plate on the bottom of this switch, and as that plate gets pressure through the bottom port of the pressure switch, what it does is it lifts, and as it lifts, those points will actually open. So as the pressure increases, this lip pops up, and as you can see, those points open. As the pressure drops or diminishes, the points close, which is what these 2 screws are for. One is for the differentiate between the on and off pressure, and the other one is your pressure setting. We generally don't endorse people to start playing with this because you can do some real problems, especially on particular pumps that only build certain PSIs. So the big to-do is we're just trying to make sure there's no obstruction in these points that can keep you from actually getting power to the pump. What we endorse doing is using the lid that came off. As long as it's plastic, it won't conduct electricity. What you can do is go in, use the corner, the pointed corner to open the points and then let them go. As you let them go, they're spring actuated. They should close. Sometimes you'll see a spark come across there. You may have to do it multiple times, but after you do it a couple times, those points will make contact and it'll send power out to the pump. Get a close-up of the points and the condition. You can see these points are pretty badly burned on this side especially. There's not much there. Again, the power's off on this, so touching it is not really an issue, but you can see those points are pretty badly charred, which they're going to have a problem making connection. These points inside here make connection back and forth, and that's what creates a connection or continuity between this side. Same on the other side. These are just some common pumps that have been pulled off that may or may not have problems. We could have used brand new pumps for this apparatus, but it wouldn't give you a realistic vision of what you can see out in the field. Some of your points or your pressure switches have bent or damaged product. Your points can be worn where they actually will become dirty from dust, from ants, all kinds of other things can happen in there. Most of the stuff we see is like black sugar ants, bull ants, lizards that climb across here. Sometimes they'll get in here and short out and make the pump shut off. Normally what happens is you just don't get a good connection out of there. And once you don't get that, these things don't open. As you can see with this switch here, cobwebs, spiders, all kinds of things that can cause that same problem. But if you notice, there's 2 wires here feeding into the pump. These 2 wires are your load that feed in, or your load that feeds into the pump. Your line will come in and go to these 2 outside screws. Almost every pump will be set up the same way. Now, sometimes people rewire things on their own and they'll jumper it a different way, but the industry standard generally is your outside is your line and your inside is your load. Hopefully that helps you today, helps you get past a problem you may have. We do this 10 or 12 times a week on the phone. So we're putting this video out just so we can push customers to our website so they have a reference to look at. Again, please be careful. You don't ever touch inside this where these wires are without using something that won't conduct electricity, like a plastic lid, a pencil, something wood that won't conduct electricity. If you turn the power off to do it, a lot of times you're not going to get the result you're looking for because it actually has to burn that material that's stuck between the points out. So we're here and available. If you need us, you're more than welcome to call us and we're happy to walk you through it. Or if you need something beyond that, we're happy to send a service tech out. But hopefully this helps you get a better idea of what you're looking at and what you're working on.